Shitty Beatles, shittier bosses.
Red Ted's excellent redemption.
How's it going, Frood?
All that and more.
It's the Goodyear Blimp!
Where?
Super Media Bros.
How's it going, Frood?
That was not a blimp.
No, it wasn't a blimp. It was
That was not true.
That was not true. It was not a blimp. In fact, it wasn't anything close to resembling a blimp. It was a phone booth.
That's not what I was going to say.
Oh, well, what were you going to say?
It was your bald head.
It is. It could still. It's the dude your blimp. My fucking bald ass head just flying through the sky.
Yes.
Welcome to episode 126 of the Super Media Bros podcast. I'm Midnight Agent Raw.
And I'm Dude Kame.
Dude Kame. How's it going, dude?
How's it going, dude?
It's going.
It's going. Still hanging, dude?
I'm still hanging in there, dude. I'm still flying through the air like a Goodyear blimp with my bald ass motherfucking head, dude.
You're like a mixture of him and Carl from Aqua Teen.
I mean, you know, I am wearing a pretty fucking sweet shirt this week. It's pretty fucking loud. There's flamingos and
Very
it's
excellent.
party time. What if Carl wrote the fucking Wild Stallions music? Be wheedly wheedly wah.
That's the noise that they play every time they go like, excellent,
Wheedly wheedly wah. Fuck yeah. Wheedly Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Cult Cinema Showdown 50. Holy shit, we've made it to 50 of these sons of bitches. And this one was voted on by you guys out there in the Twitterverse.
I know I've made this joke several times, but both of you,
Both of you.
if you're tired of this joke, vote on Twitter.
Yeah, if you're really sick of this vote, if
you're sick of democracy,
if you're sick of democracy, take it up with Sir Abraham Lincoln from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. By the way, this week it's Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure versus Wayne's World.
Party on. Excellent.
Wheedly wheedly wah. So, yeah, this might be like a little bit of a different... We say this sometimes here and there, but I feel like this is going to be a little bit of a different one because there's really not a need to explain the plots of these to most of you out there because I'm pretty positive most, if not all of you, have seen both of these fucking movies at least like 3 times. And if you haven't, we're sorry.
Like, how have you not by now?
What do you want to do first? Wayne's World?
Excellent.
All right, cool. So Wayne's World, obviously based on the Saturday Night Live sketch of the same concept. I don't give a shit what anybody says. This movie helped even bring Queen back into the forefront. Even though they were already there, this movie revived Bohemian Rhapsody like several years after its fucking release. And if not like revived it, it's definitely like made it the fucking staple of their set list now. And holy shit, if you haven't sang Bohemian Rhapsody anytime you see this fucking movie, there's something wrong with you.
I mean, anytime you think of Queen, you think of that song.
Yeah, oh, fuck yeah.
So
let's just go from the top of it. I mean, they do an episode and they get noticed by Benjamin, who is just kind of channel surfing, and he calls his partner and he's just like, you know, who are these guys? Blah, blah, blah. We got to get them. And Wayne kind of just gives, you know, a dialogue about, hey, you know, I've had several jobs that, you know, he's like, I've got several name tags and hairnets. You know, obviously he's worked plenty of minimum wage jobs, but wants to do Wayne's World for a living, but doesn't really see it happening. So they get picked up by this company. And that's kind of when it starts to roll downhill. I mean, Wayne and Garth attend the fucking gasworks. That's a fucking great scene. Like, that's before they get picked up because they're watching Crucial Taunt. And that's where we get the whole Shitty Beatles sequence. Hey, Tidy, who's playing tonight? The Jolly Green Giants and the Shitty Beatles. The Shitty Beatles, are they any good? They suck. Well, then it's not just a clever name.
You know, I just have to point out, like, the way you're describing all of that, it sounded like me and you.
I mean, yeah.
We had so many pointless jobs growing up, and we want to make this like our actual job, and then, well...
No, I get it.
Yeah, it's just weird how this movie kind of correlates to how we are as...
A little bit, yeah. Where it's like we do it because we love doing it anyway, but we're like, oh, that'd be cool, you know. So that's really weird, but yeah, let's continue.
Yeah.
So and it's fucked up. I've never put that together until just now.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so they go in the gas works and they catch Crucial Taunt, which is Cassandra, who is another central character in the movie that Wayne falls in love with. And she's the bassist and lead singer of this group, which they're fucking awesome. So they hit it off.
Mainly because Wayne is very excellent in Cantonese.
This is true. He winds up learning it later, like after they're dating. Like, and I think that's like the cool part. That's when they start like really like going out and shit. I mean, I know we're going to kind of gloss over some of the stuff in the movie, but
But you should know by now what this movie's about.
Yeah. So anyway, that they get set up with Benjamin and his whole fucking facade of shit, and Cassandra just happens to be there with Wayne and shit, and he starts, you know, kind of courting her because he's interested in the band, but more or less her.
Yeah.
So there's kind of a struggle between Wayne and Fuckface over the love of Cassandra, which Wayne gets jealous and insecure just because, like, you know, Ben's got all this fucking money, and like it's apparent in the sequence where he starts ordering the Chinese food and he's like speaking all the language, and she's just like, oh god, like that typical shit. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, this guy's really good.
Oh yeah.
But I like that scene too, because when Garth goes into Ben's room or whatever, and he picks that fucking black book up. Thursday, reminder, purchase feeble public cable access show and exploit it. Wow. I feel sorry for whoever that is. It's all breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, because Mike Myers' character as Wayne, he tends to turn to the camera and actually discuss, like, it's kind of like a philosophical version of how he's proceeding in these movies, basically. Like, he'll sit there and, like, it's like, wow, you know, that's just kind of, you know, weird how that happened. Or it's like, oh, I hate to see how that goes. You know, he's
they all do, yeah.
Yeah, he's acting like, you know, there's somebody there, but not actually there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Everybody's done this where they just side glance out the window at the invisible camera looking into their life as they're driving. That's kind of Wayne.
It's like Morgan Freeman's watching you.
Morgan Freeman.
Oh, shit.
What Wayne didn't know is that Benjamin is about to destroy his whole life.
End that man's whole career.
He's about to end that man's whole career.
But also, like, another part of this movie where they always talk about being corporate sellouts and shit.
Yeah.
And they end up being corporate sellouts by advertising all these different companies, but they make it to where it's like, yeah, we definitely don't like doing this shit, but...
Oh, it's very sarcastic. I love that. And that's absolutely like the tongue-in-cheek parts of these movies, or parts of this movie at least, that I like.
Mm-hmm.
Benjamin wants to get Noah Vanderhoff, who is the owner of Noah's Arcade, as a sponsor. But Wayne and Garth are not cool with that because they're worried about changing up their show. I mean, their intro gets changed up and they don't do the same thing. The way they produce the show isn't the same thing. And I mean, that's how it really can be in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the big interview happened, and Wayne had cue cards in his hand when he was reading out the excerpts of, like, okay, so tell me about this. You know, what about this? On the back of the cards facing the camera, there were literally just like insults to him, saying like, this guy has no penis.
This man blows goats. I have proof.
Yeah, stuff like that. And
Sphincter boy.
And everybody besides like the main corporation people are like, what the fuck is he doing? They're laughing their asses off, and they're like just confused as to what the hell is going on. But that was the straw that broke everything, because that pretty much fucked up everything for the show.
Yeah, because in a sense, that's what Wayne and Garth usually would do, is that they would fuck with whoever their guests were, but they always would do it in a lighthearted way, except this time it was meant as like a big fuck you to Ben and the rest of everybody that's just like, no, here's what you're going to do. You're going to play ball, and this is how it's going to be. And, you know, after the segment ends, he goes up to the production booth, and he's just like, you know, what the hell was that? And he's just like, you know, doing what we've always done. And then he fires Wayne. And he's like, yeah, right. Okay, fine. I'm taking this show with me. And he's like, well, no, we own the show. Because essentially what happened...
You signed it over.
Yeah. And then he bails. And then they come... This is another funny scene. Whenever they come back to Garth, they're like, and we're back. And then you just see like Terry up in the booth. we're coming back? We're still going? And yeah, in 5, 4, 3, and then they cut in and you just see Garth he's just kind of sitting down. And then he's frozen like a ghost because he's never done it alone or whatever. And then you just see fucking Terry look over.
Remember that scene in Scanners?
Yeah, ever seen that scene in Scanners where that dude's head blew up? I love that so much. But then that causes a rift between Wayne and Garth because Garth, was like, dude, you could have told me. I'd have walked with you. Like, you didn't need to, bail on me. Like, we were always in this together. I'm not just like your sidekick. And Garth kind of feels like that's all he ever was, is not an equal to Wayne. And Wayne doesn't necessarily agree that is the case, but he doesn't help out any. And they have a falling out. And then Wayne has a falling out with Cassandra because he's pissed off with Ben, and Ben's got her banned a fucking music video shoot and all this other shit. And he fucks that up by shit talking Ben, and he, pretty much tells her to piss off. And then that whole sequence where he just walks out of her little studio apartment, and he's just like talking to the cameras like, oh, I'm being shit on. I'm just being shit on. And it really pissed me off. And the fucking crowd turns to go away.
Yeah.
Wait, come on back.
It's like, no, come on back.
But then we get the whole I'm going to fix everything arc where, he goes and he's trying to right the wrongs. And here we go to another, this is going to be a throwback to last week, to the last Cult Cinema Showdown. Because Wayne is speeding off to make it up to Cassandra at the video shoot because he thinks that Ben is going to steal her from him. So he gets pulled over by a cop, and he's like, fuck. And he's just like, slicking his hair back, and it's goddamn Robert Patrick dressed up just like the T-1000 because Terminator 2 had just hit theaters like not long before Wayne's World did.
Yeah.
And he just fucking looks in with the picture. Have you seen this, boy? Fourth wall breaks. And he fucking speeds off. But what made me laugh, that scene would not have worked unless Robert did what he did, which when Wayne sped off, he just started doing that fucking walking after him like he's about to just run after him. Just like, fuck that. I swear to this day, if I ever see Robert Patrick, I'm fucking turning the other way. Nope, I'm leaving. Yep. Fuck that guy.
One of the most intimidating people in the 80s and 90s.
Dude, I'm telling you. Great fucking actor. Solid fucking actor. I remember as a child watching that because I saw Terminator 2 when it came out. And seeing Wayne's World, and I saw that, I was like, oh my God. I didn't, think, oh, that's a funny cameo. I was like, oh shit, the T-1000's here. Like, he's about to fucking murder him. So, yeah. But anyway, he gets to the video shoot, and I laugh my ass off because he does the whole thing where he's apologizing to her. And, he's throwing like the water in his face, like he's crying. And then there's like the, Oscar scene, like it just flashes on the bottom Oscar scene. I love it. And then he's like giving this whole like, this whole rant. And he's just like, and worst of all, I never learned to read. And she's like, is that true? Yeah. Everything except for the reading part. And it was so gross though, because there's that part where that snake that is in the video shoot is like creeping down her arm. And she's like, is that you or the snake? And she just looks down and the snake's on her shoulder. And she's just like, ew, because years later, I got the joke because I was thinking like she got grossed out because the snake was touching her. And then I was like, I got older. I was like, oh, his fucking dick was all up on her leg and shit when he just walked up behind her. I was like, that's gross, dude. Yeah. Get the fuck away from me. Yeah, but what happens is, we kind of glossed over this part, but we forgot to mention they went to an Alice Cooper concert, and Chris Farley's character, who's he was a security guy working for the show, tells them about Frankie Sharp of Sharp Records, who pretty much is everywhere at all these big concerts and has them. He's always in like a limousine and all this other shit. And he pretty much tells them how he got a satellite on his car. So they figure out a way to bounce the satellite signal from Cassandra's show to the car from their basement. So they go steal all the radio and the video equipment back from the studio. And I think that's when that whole sequence happens with, what's his fucking name? Ben's right hand dude. Where the whole pralines and dick scene.
Oh, yeah. If he was a flavor of ice cream, he'd be pralines and dick.
I fucking love that sequence so much. But no, he's like, I'm supposed to stop you. Benjamin's my friend. No, Benjamin is no one's friend. If Benjamin were an ice cream flavor, he'd be pralines and dick. Fucking Christ, dude. But yeah, he winds up actually, siding with Garth and everything. But I just love how he's like, hi guys, and they're just like, hi, how are you? Like, then they just like become friends, and just, he helps them kind of, wreck shop on that. But what I fucking loved is that they're friends with this specific police officer that they show him in the beginning. And they've hatched this whole plan together because Wayne and Garth kind of make up at Makita's Donuts, and the cop actually pulls Ben over and gives him a fucking cavity search, because that's another running gag in the movie, is the whole fucking cavity search thing, which makes me laugh because when it's Rob Lowe is just fucking hilarious, and he's such a great physical comedian. And whenever he pulls up at the house, whenever they're doing the broadcast, and he gets out the car and he fucking like waddles in and shit. Because they do the whole Scooby-Doo ending sequence before this, and that's kind of where we get caught up to the real ending of the movie, where Sharp sees everything going on. Ben tries to fucking sabotage it, but he gets fuck all, basically. But I mean, it's a happy ending for everybody. They get their show back, and she gets signed to a deal, and they do the whole thing where the whole cast and crew like just kind of break character, and it's a big zoom in, and everybody's partying up and shit. But I mean, that's basically Wayne's World. And it's nobody just kind of blew through it, but I mean, it's
not an intense like plot point. It's more of just the crude humor and dialogue between the characters that you really get drawn to.
It's basically just a giant SNL sketch, just kind of stretched out over an hour and 34 minutes. And it's funny. Like, it's the comedy still holds up, and it's a classic. I love Wayne's World. Like, I'll never not love that movie.
Yeah, I was watching earlier the Can I Help You riff. When they were in the music store.
When they go in the music store. Yeah, I forgot about that.
It's
because
here, I'll play the Can I Help You riff, and he starts playing.
Can I help you? Okay, so fun fact, like that's a real fucking thing, dude. I swear to God, like every music store I've ever gone into, if I start picking like some sticks up and just kind of tap around on a drum head, or if I start playing like a guitar or something, somebody just immediately just walks up, can I help you? And I'm just like, I'm just here to play. Like I'm here to just try this shit out. Because Wayne had been wanting that Fender Stratocaster, and he winds up buying it with the cash check that they get signed to from the network and shit. Which that scene's pretty goddamn funny too. Because I remember like Garth looking at the camera, and he's like pulling him under the table. Like he just pushes the pen over, and he's like, drop my pen, and he's like, go down, look, come here. And he gets under the table. He's like, I mean, why does this guy have contracts? And he starts talking like randomly about this one thing. He's like, this guy signed a contract. They cut out his tongue and they put it in the jar, but it wouldn't die. It just pulsated and gave birth to baby tongues. Like this whole fucking weird fucking shit. And he's like, that's pretty cool, but I gotta go. And he grabs his pen and comes back up to the table. There's so many like great scenes in this movie, dude.
Like the hockey scene where they're playing on the streets.
Yeah,
and homegirl comes right on the bicycle. He's like, hi, Wayne.
Yeah, Wayne's ex, like a neck brace and everything.
And then they're just literally staring at her, and she's waving like, hi, and then just careens into a fucking parked car. And they're like, is she okay? Like, and she's okay.
And she's okay.
It's like, game on.
Game on. Car. Car. I still do that shit every time. That's a thing I used to do with video games. Like, game on. If I can start playing video games and shit. But yeah, like I've used lines from this movie and Bill and Ted, like we'll get into in a minute. I've used lines from both of these movies just in everyday life because that's how much they've stuck with me since I was a kid.
And that's one of the reasons they're iconic, is the lines themselves just stick with you. I mean, you can pretty much remember these movies just by the lines themselves. Even if you just talk about something random and you say one of those lines, like, oh, that's a Wayne's World reference.
Right?
Like that's how immediate it pops up.
I mean, even the whole Bohemian Rhapsody thing. Like, I don't care who you are. When that song comes on the radio, you think about the five guys headbanging in the Mirthmobile. You headbang every fucking time that one part happens.
Hurling this.
Oh my God. It's like Phil. Yeah, Phil fucking in the beginning of the movie where he's just like, what he said, you're buzzed again. What if he honks in the car? I'm giving you a no honk guarantee. Phil, if you're gonna spew, spew into this. And he's just like, oh. And I love how Garth's like, yeah, this ain't gonna cut it. Just kind of shoves it back in his pocket, dude. So dumb.
And then just the scene where they were singing the "Let Me Go" part from Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
It makes you think like he's like, no, let me go.
Like,
I gotta go puke.
Like literally, let me go. Like they pretty much just kidnapped him so he wouldn't get arrested for a DUI.
Yeah.
Or a fucking public intox, not a DUI. Anyway. But yeah, that's Wayne's World, man. Like, if y'all haven't seen it, just do yourself a favor and go fucking see it. But I highly doubt most of you have not seen this movie, so.
I guarantee both of you have seen this movie.
Oh, absolutely. All two of you out there have seen this fucking movie. So, I think we have a movie trailer or a movie preview of a coming attraction to play for y'all.
Do we?
I think so.
I don't know where that came from. Like I just saw the button got added to it.
Must be the network sponsor.
Oh, okay.
It might be Noah's Arcade. It might not be. We'll find out though. Do you have a date with VD?
And by VD, we mean Valentine's Day, not venereal disease. But you might get it in these 2 feature films coming this summer.
To theaters near you. Gone with the Rhea.
And The Slap.
Coming in theaters.
Just like your date. I'm just itching to watch that.
I know. I've got this really just burning sensation to see it.
I need to go to the doctor now.
Anyway.
Do I have the HIV?
Yeah, I don't know. He might be able to aid you in that. I'm not sure what's going on, dude. Anyway, let's talk about. Yes, clap everybody. Yes.
A round of applause.
Oh, are we really going there with that?
Do we do it? Hey, that's my crotch right now.
God damn it! Oh, fuck you guys. God damn it, y'all are late.
Who the fuck are you people?
When did we get a studio audience?
Is this the Wayne's World set?
I'm not sure.
Or did they come in that little phone booth right here?
That's a great question. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. This one deals with 2 people who are kind of resembling us also. And as far as the jokes and the stupidity department, which if y'all haven't figured that out by now.
Yet again. But in this situation, both these Nimrods.
Yeah.
They are failing history in their current high school class. And in order to pass, they have to present an essay, a verbal essay, in order to pass the class, basically.
And they need an A+.
It's A+ or nothing.
Exactly. Because a lot of things fall on this test. If they fail, Ted gets sent off to Oates Military Academy in Alaska via his father, who is a fucking large dick. And not in a good way. He's just a
He's
prick.
not this dick.
He's not me.
Dick with 2 C's.
Dick thick. But no, he'll get sent off to the military academy. Their potential band Wild Stallions will be no more because of it. And last but not least, the most important fucking thing.
Future of the civilization will end.
Because their music will not happen.
So, they charge Rufus to aid the boys into passing their history oral exam.
Yeah, Rufus is from the year 2688. That's a long way into the future. But he's got to travel 700 years back to help Bill and Ted pass their history report.
To ensure the safety of their civilization.
Yeah, because their music will end world poverty. It'll bring world peace. It'll end war. It'll aid in the contact between our world and other worlds, the planets align, extraterrestrials, all the way down to animals like household pets. I mean, you name it. Their music saves literally everything. So where do we start, sir? They get the phone booth. They learn how to use the phone booth
At a Circle K.
That's right. Because they're trying to pass their history report by themselves, but George Carlin, Rufus, shows up in a fucking phone booth, just crash landing in the Circle K.
And then not long after explaining what is happening, Bill and Ted show up in the phone booth from the past.
Yeah.
Or
future.
At some point.
At some point in time, they show up and tell themselves this is what you need to do.
Like, listen to Rufus. Oh, and by the way, Ted, hit on those ladies.
Yeah, hit on those princesses and don't forget to wind your watch. One sidetrack here. I thought this was hilarious when we were watching. You were like, dude, they did video rentals in a Circle K. Because, like, you could look through the window and see that they had, like, videos to rent. It's like, dude, yeah. Like, because Circle K, like, used to be, like, the fucking convenience store. I don't think it is anymore these days. Strange things are always afoot at the Circle K.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like, it's so fucking weird looking back and be like, holy shit, that Circle K looked nice to go into.
Strange things, too, like random people asking, when did the Mongolians take over China?
I don't know. I just work here. I love how he walks back and he's like, that lady said, you know, Marco Polo. He's like, I knew it wasn't just a water sport.
In 1275.
I like the classroom sequence before they get here, though, like, because this is the kind of humor that I love so much. And he's just like, hey, Ted, who is Joan of Arc?
It's Noah's wife.
Yeah, Noah's wife. Who is Napoleon? He's dead?
Some dead French dude.
I fucking love that. He's dead? So, what you're trying to say is that Napoleon was a short, dead dude. Yeah. But that, again, that's the type of humor that I love so much. So they get the phone booth right, and they go to Austria when the French are invading for Napoleon. But they don't really mean to get Napoleon. Napoleon just accidentally gets fucking, like, dragged into this mess. But I still to this day laugh because he breaks his damn, like, the telescope or that little, you know, pocket scope out, and he's just looking, and he just sees them waving, must be going, dudes, and he just blow them up. Just really fucking just
nonchalant.
Yeah, just blow them up. I don't know what it is. Blow them up. Then he gets fucking, like, blown up into the fucking portal that they go into, and he gets dragged into current day San Dimas,
which Ted charges his brother to watch Napoleon.
Fucking Deacon, dude.
Yeah.
The most irresponsible little brother of all time. Little bastard.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so let's cut through. They grab Billy the Kid and Socrates, who they lovingly call Socrates.
Because he's so cray.
But I gotta be honest. Like, the sequences where they grab Socrates and Billy the Kid are pretty goddamn funny, because they go to the fucking West. And the first thing I thought was
Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah. And then we were just like, Red Ted's Redemption. And then Cody's like, Red Ted's Excellent Redemption. It's like, dude, come on, yes.
And he's ironically wearing a red shirt. So it's like,
done.
Yeah.
But I love it because the sequence with Billy the Kid when he walks in, he's like, I need 2 men. And they're just like, we're with you, Billy the Kid. He just walks up and grabs them. And it's poker, not a fucking gunfight or war, nothing.
It's like, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Whatever I win, I keep. Whatever you win, I keep. Sure thing, Mr. the Kid.
Yeah, sounds good, Mr. the Kid. And then they're fucking sitting there playing poker. And Bill's like, come on, Ted. You gotta have a poker face like I do. Whoa, 3 aces!
And then the guys at the table was just like, what are you trying to pull on us, Billy?
I'd have laughed my ass off because, like, he kind of sounded like Spicoli. He was like, whoa, 3 aces! Oh, those guys are fools! Stupid, dude. No, for real though. Then they get into this huge fucking fight, this huge ass bar fight, and they escape and they go to Greece to get Socrates.
Which Socrates is giving his speech on how everybody is just a speck in the universe, like they're so tiny, minute, just insignificant. But he's speaking in Latin, and he walks up. The guys walk up to him and is like, oh, how do we get him out of here? And they're literally freaking everybody out around him. And they're like, well, just
philosophize with him, Ted.
Philosophize with him. It's like, okay. He's like, we are like dust in the wind, dude.
Yeah. Dust. Wind.
Dude.
Oh.
And he just has like a moment of spasm. Like, oh.
Like epiphany where he's like sands through the hourglass, and so are the days of our lives. So great, dude. It's so great. It's so great.
It's so great.
But anyway, they grab Socrates and Billy the Kid, and they travel back to medieval England. where they meet the babes, the princesses, and this is kind of in the time sequences. This is where they spend, I think, the most time, because they do the whole thing where they're trying to go in to say hi to the princesses. So they sneak into the metal armor, and Bill thinks Ted gets killed because he accidentally falls down the stairs, and like some of the guards like fucking stab him in the chest, and they wind up escaping because the king wants to put them in the Iron Maiden and chop their fucking heads off. So,
which at the execution, the executioners were Billy and Socrates. They free them. They get the phone booth because it was being hauled by a horse and buggy. They take off on it, and they finally escape and go back to...
I think they go back to San Dimas first. No, because the guy on horseback fucks the antenna up, but they don't know that he's fucked up the antenna, and they're like, okay, well, we gotta, make a side trek or whatever. But anyway, they wind up after this. They wind up picking up in no particular order. They wind up picking up Beethoven, Genghis Khan, Joan of Arc,
Sigmund Freud.
Yeah, Sigmund Freud. That's it. Yeah. Cool.
So while all that's going on, Deacon takes Napoleon.
That's who I forgot.
Yeah. He takes Napoleon to Ziggy Piggy.
Yeah.
And they try to get him to understand, like, okay, this ice cream you eat. And he's speaking French the entire time, and I forgot what he says, like, la glace?
And they're like, whatever, just eat it.
Just eat it. So he takes one bite, and he's like,
fuck yeah.
So they finish it, and he's like battling with spoons to like, no, mine.
Yeah, he gets the last bite from the girl next to the little girl.
And the workers bring
the button
that says, I'm a Ziggy Piggy.
Yeah, he's like, he ate the pig. He's a Ziggy Piggy, Ziggy Piggy, Ziggy Piggy, Ziggy. It's so stupid, but goddamn, it's funny. They just pin this thing on him, and it looks hilarious because he keeps this on for the rest of the movie. He's got like his battle medals and shit from the war, but then he's got the fucking Ziggy Piggy the button right above it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so stupid because they wind up taking him bowling. Funny fucking scene. He's sitting there like changing the scores, like thinking he's all slick, just changing the scores, and they fucking ditch him. The kids ditch him, and he gets tossed out, and he's just kind of wandering around. And we kind of leave him for a bit because back with Bill, Ted, and the rest of the historical figures, they go to Bill's house, which another subplot is that there is a girl named Missy who was 4 years ahead of them in school, who is now dating Bill's dad. So technically that's she's married to his dad, so it's his stepmom now, and it's just fucking awkward, dude.
Which was so fucking disgusting how... The very first moment that we see the dad come into play...
Oh, he came into play, all right.
He came into play. He shooed the boys out of Bill's room and say, oh, go take a break. Go watch a movie or something. And you just see in the corner just like him looking at her like, oh, yeah.
And then he looks at Bill and Ted, and Bill's like, oh, like you could tell he was about to be like, are you fucking kidding me? And he just shuts him. And then fucking Ted, oh, now your dad's going for it in your own room.
And you didn't go for it.
Yeah.
Shut up, Ted.
Your stepmom is cute, though. Shut up, Ted. Remember when I asked her to the prom? Shut up, Ted. I fucking love that. Stupid.
But they end up in prehistoric times trying to figure out what happened to the antenna. So they devise a plan to fix it by chewing gum. Everybody in line chews gum. And they hand it to Bill, and they're like, okay, hope this works. And they stick it all together, and they had like this concoction of like the pudding cans that they all ate and the gum, and they fixed it, and they finally head back to the present time, but it was like the day before.
That's whenever they land in their past selves in front of the Circle K, and that's where you see the time continuum that's constantly in a loop.
Right.
So Bill and Ted's future and past selves are always intertwined in this very moment for now. But they wind up leaving because Ted forgot to wind his watch, and so now they're 8 hours behind when they should be
10 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they go to the mall because they need to locate Napoleon, which they find out Deacon ditched Napoleon, and they're pissed about it. And then like, where would I go? And they're like, Waterloo. They keep mentioning this water park. And this is a great fucking scene in the movie, dude. Napoleon finds this water park, and he is having a goddamn blast. It is the funniest shit ever. Like, he is cutting the line and knocking kids out of the way to get to the fucking slides and shit.
Yeah, they have a mom introduce, like, okay, it's me and 11 kids, and you see, like, a couple of them walk through the little, like, turnstile, and Napoleon just walks through with his fucking, battle uniform.
He's wearing the garb the whole time.
And he gets on top of the big slide, and he's trying to, explain what's going on. And he's like, "You're holding up the line, buddy." So they push him into the tube, and he's like screaming and flailing in the damn slide. And he's like, "Ah!" He's like all freaking out and like happy and joy. So he runs back up like so many different times to do the slide over and over again. And it's like this almost adorable like bonding experience because he's like a kid.
Yeah, and it's not even in a creepy way too. Like, he's having fun and he's helping he goes from like kind of knocking some of the kids out of the way to like helping them up, and he's like, "Hey, try this ride, do this ride," and he's sliding down next to the other kids and he's having a fucking blast. And then Bill and Ted show up and like, "Oh, we gotta go," and he's just like, "No." Like, he's that kid that doesn't want to go home from the water park.
Like, you pick him up from the arms and it's like he's kicking.
Yeah, the whole time he's like, "Yeah." Napoleon.
But as this is going on, the rest of the gang is off doing their own little thing in the mall, where you have Socrates and Billy hitting on some girls, and Sigmund Freud pops in. He's like, "Y'all seem to have a giggling complex."
Yeah, he's like, "You have a slight case of hysteria."
And he's like, "Oh my God, geek."
Yeah, you're such a geek.
And he's like, "Fucking Freud."
Socrates. Ha! Geek. He walks away.
But you have Joan of Arc interrupting aerobics exercise, taking over the class and doing her own like rendition of it, whatever. You have Abraham Lincoln taking pictures in that historic like Wild West kind of like setup, basically.
It's like a photo booth where you can grab like wigs and hats and shit.
And the clerk is like, "Okay, I need the top hat and the beard." So he's like, that's not going to happen.
You don't understand. I'm Abraham Lincoln.
It's like, "Sure you are."
Yeah, right.
So he takes off fucking running out. Beethoven is lighting up this music store with all these keyboards because the clerk was like, "Oh yeah, you like that? You'll definitely love this." And he's just rocking out on like 6 keyboards.
He's got a crowd in front of him. I mean, he is tearing shit up. It's like fucking amazeballs. Fucking Genghis Khan is in the sporting goods departments.
He's trading club with a fucking baseball bat.
Oh, he goes absolutely ape shit on this fucking mannequin, dude.
But what ends up happening is they all get arrested and sent to the precinct that Ted's dad works at. So now the boys find out what's going on. They have to rescue the gang. So they have this weird thought, this weird process of time travel in their head to where like, how do we get the keys to the locks or to the doors? It's like, well, why don't we return them after the essay? We'll put them here. And ironically, they show up behind the sign of the precinct and they're like, "That was a good idea." And I was like,
they've already done this.
So they figure this out. So what they do in this whole sequence is they trick his dad into figuring that, oh, well, Ted's in this corner of the precinct office. They sneak in, let everybody out. And as they're getting the last person out, Ted's dad walks into the back. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?" Ted is like, "Dad, I'm really sorry about this, but I need to remember trash can."
Yeah, he's like, "Trash can. Remember a trash can."
And it just falls on top of his dad. And he's like, "Oh, by the way, here are your keys."
Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, Dad, found your keys. I'm really sorry, but we got to go past history." And he fucking leaves. And they make it in time. They're actually about to fail them. Like, their teacher is there. And, I mean, he was actually not even going to give them the time of day because they were on at 2:45, but they were going to finish it at like 2:20. So they wind up making it there. And they knock it completely out of the park. It's the coolest presentation ever.
It's like a rock show, basically.
It really is, yeah, dude. And what I loved the most was, as a child, I was like, okay, this is cool or whatever. But like when you get older and you understand what they're doing, I liked the way that they tied together the history of these people, but they also interpreted it how they would. They were comparing it to, like they compared like Genghis Khan to Ozzy Osbourne and all this other shit, and it was really cool to see that modernized and told in such a way that a current audience of kids could understand
at the time.
Yeah. And they pass the class, and they're trying to play music again, and they're just kind of like, well, we're here, we're just here. Rufus shows up, and this is where they actually find out, which before they actually, I need to kind of backtrack, because before they get to the Circle K, Because remember, that's when they escaped.
Yeah, and the phone booth malfunctions, and it brings them to the future, where they meet the civilization that honors them, that worships them. And you find out, like we mentioned earlier, these two saved humanity because they have these like video like holograms of them doing the air guitar strum. Well, as they say, well, you guys are here, everybody who survived to that civilization shows up, and they all start doing the motion of the guitar strum.
Yeah, and they're like, should we say something? And this is where the whole be excellent to each other and party on dudes phrase is born.
Yeah, because Ted was like, well, make something up.
Right.
But yeah, they're like, be excellent to each other.
And party on, dudes.
Yeah.
Which is how Abraham Lincoln, the last speaker, ends the show. And it's great. But they're back at the garage, and they're just kind of like, well, what the fuck do we do now? And Rufus shows up with the princesses, and they stay with Bill and Ted. And that's whenever he tells them about how their music saves the world and the universe, basically. And then he gifts them two really awesome guitars that it's like the no headstock on the guitar, and the tuning pegs are on the bottom end of the body. And they start to jam out, but they still suck. And they find out like the girls are actually part of the band too. And I just fucking love George Carlin like ends it with, they do get better.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. It's not like the most in-depth Cult Cinema Showdown we've done, but I mean, it's enough to, you fucking watch these movies. They're culturally significant.
And if you haven't, at least one of the jokes in both films should at least get your attention.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I mean, they both make you laugh in some way, whether it's like stupid humor or like very crude, like undertone humor.
Yeah, or satirical humor or just social commentary, like whatever. These movies carry both of those. Do we pick a winner out of these two? I mean,
they're both really good films that have helped define the future of films.
Yeah, as far as comedy goes.
Comedy goes, yeah. So to claim one as a winner of the other, it's really, you can't do that because they're both good on their own rights.
Yeah. I mean, it's to a point that they both spawned sequels, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey and then Wayne's World 2, which I'll be honest, I wasn't as big of a fan of Wayne's World 2 as I was Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, because that was actually a pretty fucking solid sequel. To the point that Bill and Ted Face the Music actually hopefully comes out this August. They may push the release date back and everything, but it's filmed and it's done. So if that doesn't tell you how culturally significant and important these movies were, we're getting a third Bill and Ted, and people have still been begging for a third Wayne's World. I would watch it. We don't really have a winner, as this is kind of like Kung Fury and Escape from North Korea, where they're both really great in their own rights. But however, there was a Twitter poll that we put up. By the time this episode drops, there will have been somebody that chose, more so than the other. So we may just repost that and be like, oh, well, as these movies tie, here's what you thought. So you guys can be our tiebreaker.
Both of you.
Yeah, all two of you.
If one picks one side, the other picks the other, it's like, oh, well, it's a draw.
It's
just like we said.
It's a draw, just like Billy the Kid.
Fucking draw.
It's fucking draw. I forgot about the scene when Napoleon gets blown away and you were like, Napoleon blown apart. Because that shit was funny.
But then later when he was bowling, it was Napoleon bowling apart.
Napoleon bowl apart, yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, because I forgot when he trips down the fucking lane and he's just yelling shit, like smashing the fucking floor, just yelling shit the whole time.
It's like, hold on, buddy, you haven't paid yet.
Buddy?
Pay?
I love these goddamn movies so much, man. It was important that we did this showdown on this one. This is our 50th, and that's definitely a fucking milestone. That means it's 102 if you count the 4-way matchup we did. So we've watched 102 films as part of this fucking series. That's a lot of movies.
That's a lot of movies.
That is a lot of fucking movies.
In some cases, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Which we have an idea for 1 month of Cult Cinema.
Yeah, we're tossing the idea around. Maybe we do that for July. Maybe we do it for July. Maybe we do it for August, but who knows?
We shall see.
Yeah.
But we won't reveal it yet.
No, not just yet. It's going to be a magical day. We'll just leave it at that. It'll be our magical month, but it will still be a magical day every time we do it.
Something you will not believe.
That is not true. No more books.
As we're laying it thick,
Yeah, as we're like, yeah.
we
But
shall just,
She'll just like go away.
proceed.
Follow us on social media, facebook.com/supermediabros, twitter.com/supermediabros_, and at supermediabros podcast on Instagram. Visit us on YouTube. Subscribe. We broke 200 subscribers last month, guys. That's a big deal. Maybe you can help us do 200 more. And then so on and so forth.
Keep that domino going.
That's it. Buy a t-shirt. We have a t-shirt, one t-shirt. Just for you. I swear to God, we haven't sold a fucking t-shirt of the new design yet.
2 guys, 1 t-shirt, 2 fans.
Which one of you will get the shirt?
It's like Gladiator with a t-shirt. Aren't you not dressed?
Right? There's literally a t-shirt for you to buy.
What size is it? We don't know.
We don't.
We don't even know the size.
But you do.
You will.
You can scroll into the show notes below and click the link to our store Frontier shop. And you can buy this shirt.
And then record yourselves fighting each other for this one shirt. And send it to us.
And if you don't fight like Jim Carrey and Matthew Broderick and the Cable Guy, then what are you even doing with your fucking life? Buy our fucking merch.
Yeah.
Or if you're like, nah, I don't want to buy your merch, but I would like to subscribe to your Patreon, fucking do that. We've got $2 and $5 tiers. The $5 tier gives you a sticker, button, and a magnet. And free bonus episodes every month.
Which, not to toot our horn or anything, but our bonus content is fucking hilarious. Just saying.
Yeah, you got a little taste of that with Uncle Ben got wrecked.
Yeah, it's that quality. It's that great. It's that spicy.
If you want to hear me wheeze until I fucking die crying, that's the content for you.
It's like, oh, they're not funny enough. Oh, they're even funnier.
Want to hear Richie fucking gasping for air and dying of gasping for air?
Dying of gasping for gonorrhea.
Dying of gasping from Gone with the Rhea and the slap.
Yeah. Because he got slapped with humor.
But yeah,
be a Patreon.
Yeah, be a good patron.
Be a buddy.
Be a buddy and pay.
Pay us.
That's it. Pay.
Pay for content.
All right, I think we're gonna end it on that one because that was pretty fucking good too.
And it's not funny enough to them. They're like, shit.
That was Cult Cinema Showdown 50 Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure versus Wayne's World, episode 126. Until next time, I've been Midnight Agent Raw.
And I've been Okame.
Shades on. We're off.